She did not tell me what she's doing.
Some of you know what this is. Okay. I'm going to kind of turn back the clock a little bit, and I'm going to cut a lot of what I was going to say. But to turn back the clock a little bit, 1989, Judy Finelli hired me to work with the Pickle Family Circus, specifically with Joan Mencken. That year, I was hired just to be funny. I mean, I knew a little bit of, tumbling and a little, I played a lot of different musical instruments, but I was just hired to be funny. The next year, we were privileged and honored to get Mr.LuYi to the Pickle Family Circus. And he was there to train the young kids that are now circus stars of the world as adults, and also the core members of the Pickle Family Circus at that time. Now, at that time, in 1990, I was approaching that, that old age of 29. And I remember when Mr.LuYi came to the church, we were all lined up to welcome him, and he was there with a translator. He didn't speak hardly any English, really. And he was going down the line with the translator, asking everyone, what their specialty was. Listening to this, and he comes to me, and through the translator asks what my specialty was. And I was like, well, I'm a clown. And his whole demeanor just, you clown, you special trick. And he put me through Chinese acrobatic boot camp. Now, I never thought in a million years that I would learn pole climbing. And according to Mr.LuYi, I was the first woman in the Western Hemisphere to perform traditional male tricks on the pole. Hoop diving, handstands, flying, teeterboard. Okay, I'm gonna do my little teeterboard story. I wasn't gonna do this. Like I said, Mr.LuYi did not know much English at this time. Here we are, the Pickle Family Circus. We're like, I'm pushing, the late 20s, and the other people were like definitely in their 20s. And anyway, and so Charlotte, you'll remember this. Remember we were practicing teeterboard. None of us had ever done teeterboard. Ever, okay? And so it was between me and Aine DeSella, who were being the flyers, and I think it was Noah Chorney and Shayna Carroll who were pitching, okay, when we were learning this. Now there's a thing about teeterboard of like, there's this certain place. It's not like you just stand at the end and go fling. No, if you stand at the end and just wait to be flung, you're gonna eat your knees. Okay, and then the other people are gonna go slam down to the ground, okay? So there's this like little sweet spot that gets you catapulted up there. So Aine would go up and try to do this, they jump and the pitch wasn't right, and she'd go about, a foot. And she'd go, shit. Okay, and then I put the belt on, and then it was my turn, and then I go up, okay, pitch, I go to about a foot, shit. Okay, so Aine and I are going back and forth. Oh, shit. Finally, this one time, Aine gets up there, she got that timing just about right, she flew about 12 feet, and Mr.LuYi goes, shit, yes, shit, shit. And we all, Char, remember that? Remember that, Char? I don't know who else was there. I think Char was the only one who was there. Oh my God. We all just like fell out, and he was like, why? Shit, he thought shit meant good. And then the next thing we had to do was like translate shit to Mr.LuYi what that was. And he was like, oh. So anyway, the next year, Jeff was hired to be my clown partner, and LuYi put us through some more Chinese acrobatic boot camp and partner acro.
Well, we were shit.
And we were shit good, yes, shit good. So a couple of years went by, and when you start learning these kind of high-end disciplines at this advanced stage, you don't, it's a little slower getting back up when you go down. And so he kind of saw the writing on that wall, and he presented me this gift of a technique to learn to ride a bicycle backwards and kick bulls on my head. So, this was not an easy thing, and I'll kind of zoom through this a little bit. So, the first thing to do was to learn to ride this bicycle backwards. Good. Okay, I'm not kidding you. I practiced 8 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'd ride, fall, ride, fall, ride, fall. Okay, after 2 weeks, I rode 3 circles in a row. I go, LuYi, LuYi, I rode 3 circles in a row. How many times do I need to do this? 1,000. Right. So I went back and I practiced until I could ride 1,000 circles without falling over, which took about 3.5, 4 hours to do continuously. Because of course, you know, if you fall over, you have to start off at 1 again. Okay? And then the next thing was to learn to kick the bulls on my head, which were mostly in my face. I mean, I looked like a boxer, in my nose, and my face, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and so the condition, it took about 1.5 years of doing this before it was performance ready. And the condition, and the last time I did this act was 1 year ago. Was 1 year ago. Still doing this, my bread and butter. Okay? Now the condition to learn this, when he presented this gift of this technique to me, there was a condition. The condition was, when I was practicing to learn it, when I was learning learning how to do this, I was not allowed or not supposed to practice in front of anyone. I had to do it, so I was over at the Potrero Hill, Missouri Street at the church over there, doing that. The other condition was that I was not allowed to teach this technique to anyone until I was ready to pass it on. Ori? Of Mr. LuYi, his legacy, his life, his spirit, what he means to all of us. Like these circles, the circle of his life and legacy continue forever and ever and ever. Invite anyone who was trained with and worked with Mr. LuYi up on the stage so we can get a group picture.